Yep. There we
There it
go.
is. Ahmed, we're live. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. So, I think I heard you mention this will be your first public appearance, correct?
It is indeed.
Nice.
It
Well,
is my first.
congratulations, dude.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
and cheers to the whole Elsakaan tribe, I hear, is joining us.
Are they already there?
I don't know. We have 3 viewers already, so
Okay, cool, cool. But
I
yeah.
expect your parents to be the prompt type. So maybe they're already watching.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you some things about yourself too.
Mhm.
So you're still in university now, right?
I am indeed. I'm last year now, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be graduating in 6 months, I would say.
Very cool. So you're
Busy.
looking at starting that job search, but also just I was just impressed just by how you've been able to become a tRPC core member while still in university. I think when I was still in university, I was still trying to figure out what the heck was going on with Git.
Yeah. Actually, we have a couple of people in core team that are university and younger. So
Oh wow.
Sachin is 17 years old, so he's still in high school. Julius is also in university now. He's second year, I think.
Very cool.
So yeah, we have a couple of people. We actually have more people in universities and younger than people above in the core
That's
team.
awesome. It's a new generation here of
Yeah,
coders that's coming in.
I
That's so
think.
cool to see. I wish I had that kind of engagement when I was in university. It was I think we were talking the other day when we talked like I did like C and Java when
Mhm,
I was in university. I graduated not that long ago. It was 2015. So
mhm.
the fact that we were doing like C and Objective C was just kind of questionable. And here you are just like on the cutting edge, on the bleeding edge
Yeah.
with like working on tRPC, full stack type safety. Really cool package too, by the way. Like huge props to the tRPC team. And I think y'all just hit 20,000 stars on GitHub.
Yeah, we
Nice.
did. We did that. We had that yesterday, I think. I joined tRPC last summer, actually, so not long ago. But yeah, it has been a journey. I think the people that I met through tRPC has been the best thing I've uh, I've gone
Yeah.
through.
I
But yeah,
imagine that will help you a lot in your job search. So that's
hopefully,
that's a really cool thing.
hopefully, yeah,
Fabio Santos, welcome.
yeah. I
And
know Fabio.
oh, nice. Is he TRPC guy as well?
No, Fabio is the person that made Cursor actually. If
Oh,
you,
okay.
yeah,
Cursor. What is this? I'm googling.
Cursor, the minifier. It's the one that Webpack uses.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Awesome. Fabio, thanks for stopping by. That's awesome. I think I use your stuff a lot.
Everyone,
It just
everyone uses the stuff a lot. Everyone.
yeah, that's very cool. We got Max in the chat too. Max is one of our guys at NX. He's on the wall somewhere over there.
Oh, that is a
It's a little too
nice.
small.
That's actually pretty cool that you have like a wall of people.
Yeah, so we had, and there's Ben. Ben's another.
Mhm.
What was Ben? Somewhere. Uh, I'm too uncoordinated. Oh, there he is.
Oh.
There's Ben. So yeah, we had our NX conference
Mhm.
in Arizona this year. So we uh, we had the chance to finally meet a lot of each other in person, which we're spread out over the globe essentially. I guess it's mainly
Oh,
just U.S., Canada, and EU, but
mhm.
um, yeah, James is still in the Middle East, I think now at the
Oh,
moment.
you have someone in the Middle East. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, he's originally he's an Englishman. James is an
Mhm.
Englishman. He's got an amazing accent. But I think he's
Mhm.
in Sudan right now, or not Sudan,
Oh,
Dubai. Yeah.
mhm. Mhm.
So, and
That's
is
pretty.
this? I think I see someone from the Elsakaan clan in the chat. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome. Is this mom?
No, it's my sister.
Your sister? That's so cool. Welcome, Rana. Thanks for stopping by. Is Rana a coder as well?
No, she's
No.
not.
Okay.
I'm,
Just
I'm
there
the
for
only one.
support.
I'm the only one in the family.
Yeah. Very cool.
So you guys are mostly like remote, right? Like everywhere in the world.
Yeah, we had a office originally in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. When I first joined, I got to go see it, and it's right. It was right in the heart of everything. But
Mm-hmm.
we stopped having the office when COVID hit, and there's still
Oh,
some of us here in Arizona. It's like me and Jeff, who's our CEO, and Joe and Carol. She's our director. So I'm really the only engineer there, and because I end up doing more of these like live streams and videos, it's just more of a hassle for me to go into the office.
yeah, yeah.
Hard to get those things set up. So normally I'm just here at home by myself too. So, but
To
we've
be
been
fair,
using this new app actually, Ahmed. It's called Gather. Have you ever heard of this?
is it the one where like you have characters in rooms?
Yes. Let
Oh
me.
yeah,
I can maybe
that
show it
was
on
pretty.
screen.
I know that one. It's pretty cool. Yep,
Yeah.
that one.
So this is me right now. And I can walk around. We have our go-kart parking over here. Pretty intense. It seems kind of silly, but the other day I was able to just like walk up to Yuri and just have a spontaneous conversation with him, and
And then
he's
just walk away.
in Italy. That was just like
Uh,
bizarre how easy that was. So
I do like how actually when COVID happened, we have now a lot of products that make us communicate a lot better without actually being physically there, which is pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I also worked for so I had my internship and I worked for that completely remotely. So I do actually prefer remote. So
Tarek's Elsakaan from the
that is
Elsakaan
my
clan is here too. Is this
yep,
Dad?
yeah, that is my dad.
That's awesome. Welcome, sir. Hope you enjoy. Ahmed was telling us about how he's the only coder in the family, so y'all are all just here for support. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Or,
it's about 5 after, Ahmed. How about let me go ahead and share my screen again,
uh-huh.
and we can start live coding through
Let's do
uh,
it.
some of this stuff because we wanted to make a to-do app today,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and maybe two. We'll see if we have time. But I
Let's do it.
we launched a article earlier today. Let me drop that link in the chat here real quick. And this is about using the tool that you're a core member of. And
Mm-hmm.
welcome to Den DP.
Hello,
Welcome, sir.
then.
So we just dropped the article in chat. What this article does is it talks about tech stacks a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
talks about like the history of this. Like maybe have you ever heard of the lamp stack before, Ahmed?
I have heard of it. Is it the one? I'm not sure what it is. Like
It's like
exactly. In
Linux, Apache, M is
Mhm.
for MySQL, and then the P is typically for like PHP. But it also is like sometimes Perl, sometimes Python.
Seems like a
So
pretty old stack.
pretty old stack, but it still accounts for a good chunk of the web. Like
Yeah.
WordPress is essentially LAMP stack, and that's still
Mhm.
massive chunk of the web.
Mhm.
So we kind of in the article we go through LAMP stacks, and then you had the mean and the MERN stack in the
Yeah.
early JavaScript days.
Mhm.
And now I think we're going into some new generation where we have like the T3 stack, which tRPC is a part of. I think
Mhm.
actually tRPC is like really angling towards being the center of a stack as well. And things like tan stack, maybe that's more just the name, but things like tan stack query is definitely putting itself at like the center of all this. And I
Mhm.
think there's a tan stack router as well,
There
correct?
is there are a lot. There is 10 stack table, query, router. It's honestly a bunch of really good packages. I think Tanner as a whole and tKDodo,
Yeah.
they make a bunch of really cool stuff.
Yeah, the quality there is really cool. It's really neat to see too. Like all of these tools seem to have the same theme, where it's like this gradient text
Yeah,
color, which I like it. So
yeah.
it's, But yeah, I think there's like this new generation that's coming out for that, and talking a little bit about NX, where NX can be sort of like a framework for building these kinds of stacks. So a lot of what we have is we have our plugin system, which
Mm-hmm.
will essentially, like, it's a way of just having a way where you can pull in, take in piecemeal, like what do you want as your front end framework. Maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
an Angular developer. If you want to bring in the Angular piece, but if you prefer React, you can bring in that. I see you
Mm-hmm.
laughing at Angular. is, that, is that too old school for you? Is that too old school for the new kids in university?
Well, I've never I have tried Angular for a bit and just I don't know, I didn't click with it.
Yeah. So
So
I'm guessing you did not the original Angular JS, but the newest version of Angular.
I did both actually. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like,
Very cool.
yeah, both.
Yeah. There's
Um,
some pieces I like about Angular. It's got a special place for me just because that's where I got
mhm,
started.
mhm.
And there's some things I think it got really right. Like it was full on board with TypeScript before
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
before that was a thing.
I do give props to Angular for actually giving a push to TypeScript when people were still hesitant about it, and
Yeah.
now we actually figured out that TypeScript is the right way to go.
Yeah. It's great, and especially some of the newer things that have been coming through with the newer versions of TypeScript. The type safety can get really nice, and even more importantly, the tooling around it is continuing to grow, especially with tRPC, TanStack, really
Mhm.
buying into that and giving a really great experience there.
Yeah,
But
I think.
anyways, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I think like before TypeScript was made like a lot very dominantly adopted like now it is. I think like we were obviously using code generation to get types and all of that stuff. And with more and more people knowing TypeScript a lot, I think technologies such as tRPC came up, which just provide a much better developer experience while avoiding these code generation and steps that might not be all the time in sync. Because
Yeah.
if you have a code change, TypeScript will know immediately
Yeah.
if there's any error. So,
Yeah, exactly. The way I guess we'll see that once we get into this, but the way that tRPC works, like
mhm.
there's that animated GIF that y'all have on like the
Yeah.
homepage. That's
Mhm.
just perfect for what tRPC is giving you. So let's throw that up. Actually, it's just
That is actually me coding, by the
no,
way.
that's actually you.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
But
you can see as you're making changes here on the server file, immediately get the type errors on the client. We
yeah,
should see that here once we get started too,
yeah.
which is great, and not only for this kind of like assurance that hey, I've got things right, but also
Mhm.
when you have the client on the client side, you don't need documentation because it's built in. You don't need to write
Exactly.
documentation because it's built in.
Mhm,
So
mhm. And everyone knows with tRPC what you're expecting the data to come back as, and
mhm.
what the operation, like the mutation or the query, actually needs in terms of inputs. And if you don't provide the inputs, it will error out, which it provides you that safety.
Yeah, errors out early. Like as soon as you see that red squiggly, you messed
Exactly.
up, and so
Hmm.
you have to fix it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call the generator that we created in the
Okay.
uh, in the link there. And that's gonna
Mhm.
go out and create my whole stack. I think we're actually going to end up discarding one of these libraries just with the way that you showed me we can use like the integration with TanStack.
Mhm.
But just after running that generator, we have sort of this cluster of our to-do applications that we've set
Mhm.
up, like a tRPC client. I think this is the one we'll actually end up discarding because we'll just go ahead and use the thing from the uh,
Our
tRPC slash ReactQuery package, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Our wrapper around ReactQuery.
Yeah, and we'll just do that right inside of the to-do web
Mm-hmm.
app, so we don't need this extra node. But the server here is nice because this is just going to be where we'll create like that router, the server side router, and that's where like we'll essentially define all of these things. And the server then, this node right here, this is just a node to like wrap that tRPC server in an Express server, so we can like have a server for it, I guess. So there we go.
We do actually get a lot of questions on the tRPC Discord about how to organize tRPC API in NX, and
okay.
a lot of people want to split the API in terms of like the routes into separate libraries, but like generally I would not recommend that. I think tRPC in itself, the way it does different files for routes, I mean the way that we recommend it, I don't think you would need multiple libraries for one API. But if you do, I would say we have certain files that initialize tRPC, and for example, making a context and stuff like that, you can make that for its own library, and then you can have basically different libraries, other libraries of routers, and then one library that brings all of them together.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was talking with Joel Hooks, I think, about this a little bit, because he had a monorepo where they were using tRPC and they had really bought into this as well. One thing that he showed me that I wasn't aware that you could do is you can actually like merge routers together.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised by.
You can actually indefinitely make routers inside routers.
Yeah, it's a nestable thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. But merging them was interesting just from a monorepo standpoint, because the way I was kind of maybe leaning more towards what you were just advising people not to do, which was what's the easiest way to like break this thing apart? Well, at the end of the day, what tRPC is giving you is that function that's telling you, hey, when you make your network request, call this function, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, that's the obvious building block. So let's break that out. If we want to share that for whatever reason between several different routers, break that function out so that you could push that down and like share it between routers if you have different applications that need it for some reason. But being a noob to tRPC, one of the things I missed was like, if you do that, like that doesn't, you miss the input, like the input method where like you would use Zod to define what that input looks like. And so you just lost the type safety that came in with doing that. So is that part of the reason why you advise just keeping the routers together?
And it's not keeping the routers together, it's rather than I don't think there is a need to make a router its own library, because it can be its own file in the big tRPC library. The advice for not doing that is because you can only do one instance of tRPC, and you need the instance to create a router.
Oh, I see.
So you're going to have to find a way to actually make that instance shared, which the only way to do that is to actually make it its own library again. So now you have multiple libraries just trying to communicate together.
Yeah, and that gets tedious. So sometimes it's better to just lump those things together, for sure.
Yeah, basically,
yeah. Let me hit some of the questions. Official Quick support in NX. We are actually working with the Quick team a little bit. I know Shai Resnick's been working with Builder.io for some of the stuff. He put out a, I don't know if it's official Quick plugin for NX, but it's official-ish, just with the association with Shai. So there is some of that going on. And it's good code for your application. Yes, it is. Is this another person from the Elsakaan family?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Nice. Iman. Is this another sister?
No, it's my aunt.
Oh, nice. Welcome, Auntie.
Entire awesome. Family is here.
Nice. Very cool. Well, you told me there's no other coders, but she clearly has an eye for code here. So.
Oh yeah, she does actually.
Good deal. All right. Well, so now that we've created the application, the other piece that we can do is we can just kind of serve it all together, and that's I don't know. It's something we can do. So, like, I haven't done anything to this project essentially
Like,
before the stream, aside from just doing what we had just seen. And now
mhm.
I have, I believe. Whoops. If I go to localhost 3000 in my browser, we can see we have our just sample to do app. I think if I can show the network, let me make this a little bigger for everyone.
Yeah.
And kill some of that. Hit a refresh. And we can see we're actually getting a request here to populate this message here. Welcome to To-Do. So we're kind of just set up and ready to go out of the gate. I think I can open up like my app.tsx file and open up here. I think this is going to be like an index inside of the server, and we can see hopefully this looks like that homepage a little bit. This is what we were going for, where I can change something here and immediately get that response, hey, you spelled this wrong, buddy. And yeah.
A lot of people don't have this working initially, and it's a very simple fix. But make sure that you have strict to true in your config.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think we have that in by default in the ts config base. Boom.
It's not in the base. It's if you do make an application, it's there.
Gotcha. Yeah. ts config.
Probably the lib. Okay,
Somewhere in
set.
there.
Let's say then. I did
Let's
actually.
see.
I do remember I made a Next.js NX repo yesterday, and it made the JS application strict false. So yeah, I just had to
Interesting.
change that through, and that worked.
Yeah.
Yes, true in the to-do app. Yep.
Yeah. So we have it strict there. We don't actually have it set in the server, it looks like, though. So
I would set strict to true, then in the base config that gets
let's
shared.
hit that. Yeah. There we go.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we're back to that welcome screen, but
Yep.
I think just to go through the methods we'll need. I think probably we just start here in the back end.
Yeah.
And just we don't need the welcome message anymore, obviously. So we can go start by, I guess we'll just throw up here constant
Actually,
to-dos. Yeah.
What I would do is actually have a separate to-dos router that then gets merged into this tRPC router.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
we'd make like a new file, basically.
Okay. Let's do this. And let me close out the app for now. And inside of here, we'll call this the
To-dos router.
To-dos router. Sounds good.
So yeah, let's I guess make an empty array. I guess we won't do like a database implementation.
Yeah, we're coding up our own database. Do we want to do an interface for the to-do right now as well?
Yeah. I would do like an interface for it to do. So probably we'll have ID, title, and completed or not.
ID, title, completed. Copilot coming in like a champ. Let's make sure we export that too.
Yep. And then we'd set the to-dos to be an array of the to-do interface. Like the title.
Like so. Cool.
So now we can make export const to-dos router, and it's not create router. That one is no. So in the index, you'd probably have a tRPC init, right? Yeah, the T, it's the tRPC router, like t.router. Also, a good, I guess, practice is to actually have a tRPC.ts file, which initializes that T instance and exports the tRPC router constant, for example.
Gotcha. So we should essentially export this and move it inside of like a tRPC TS
Yeah.
file.
No,
Okay.
that would be like the common instance of tRPC that gets used everywhere.
Oops.
Yep.
I guess I didn't copy it.
There we go.
Export
And then
tRPC.
Mhm.
Looks good.
And then
Now,
here we don't need the init tRPC at all.
yeah, we could get rid of
Yeah,
a bunch of this
basically.
stuff, I guess.
Yeah, we
Still
just need
want to
to.
import that now from that file.
Yep.
Cool.
Mhm.
Going back
And
to
now,
the to-dos router, though. Well, actually, maybe coming back up here. So the idea here would be, now that we have the to-dos router, well, I guess let's finish creating this first. So this would
okay,
be
so
t
it's
dot
gonna be t.router.
router. Sure, we import
Yep.
t.
Let's remove everything after the router function because that's not correct. It's an object inside the router.
Oh, I see.
You know, like it's a function that you run, but inside of it, then like that basically.
Okay. You call it with a object literal. And
Yeah,
here's where we would
and
start to put in
the
the. Got it. Cool.
yep.
So, I guess, do we start with like just getting the to-do list? Would that be?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what would you name this? I think I named it like to-do list when I was running through things initially.
So I typically name stuff by kind of their operation. So get, update,
Okay.
delete, and then whatever it is. So for example,
So like the HTTP verbs almost. Yeah. Or
yeah, but I would do it like get all to dos.
okay.
Be kind of like more self-explanatory. But yeah, get all to dos. It would be t.procedure, and then dot input. We don't need an input actually in this one.
Yeah, if we're just getting everything, do we
yeah.
just go right to a query?
Yeah. So
Cool.
query, and then that would take a function.
And I
Yeah,
guess this
return
would
to-do.
just return our to-dos, right?
Yeah.
Part of
Basically
me
that.
is wondering, well, maybe out of just me being a nerd, I kind of want to do this instead, right? So where I have like an indexed object, so we can do a constant time lookup somewhere down the line, because I think we're probably going to want to do that. Maybe, I don't know. And then right now our to-dos, so this is now just returning the object, but if I wanted to instead do the array, I could do like object.values on the to-dos, right? Cool. That looks good.
And then the next one would be adding a to-do.
Okay, so you'd call that add to-do?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll do LT, and here we definitely do need an input, right?
Yeah. We do need an input, which is z.object, which is
I wonder if
from
I
Zod.
have Zod installed right now, actually.
You
Yeah, it
do?
looks like it. Does that come in with tRPC?
No, you do need to install it, but we do recommend using it. You can use other validation libraries, like I think there are other ones, but we do recommend using Zod.
Nice. Yeah, I'm getting flamed in the comments by Den for the premature operations. Yeah, for the record. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I'm all about that stuff. It just seems obvious we're going to hit that at some point. I am one to hate an extra cycle that we didn't need to spend. Oh yeah, the Rarish here talking about my mishap with Vite a couple of weeks ago. Had you seen that, Ahmed?
Yeah, I have.
I was just flabbergasted, but I think I'm starting to come around to the other side. I think I had actually been in that world for a while without even realizing it, interestingly. So
Well,
anyways, we're back to creating our to-do item. So we want to use a Zod object, right?
yeah. Dot object. For the adding, we'd probably do you need the title, So title would be z.string,
Right.
and then I think that's all we need actually for making a to do. So we can then use the dot mutation,
Yeah.
and we can get the input, as a parameter of the function. Open that up. So, yep. I mean,
Um,
Copilot does it, but does it do it right?
yeah, that's interesting.
It's
It tries to give us a random.
slightly weird.
Let's make a little ID counter up here in our little makeshift database that exists in these two
Uh,
lines.
it should just be able to get it from the length, right?
Oh, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do that. Whoops. Bad key binding there. So we'll say constant ID equals, I guess we'll do like object dot values of our to-dos. Oops. Cool. And then we'll just say, I think it knows where we're going from here.
Or
Title.
do we push or is that fine?
Well, it's a object literal now, so I
Yeah.
think we
Oh
just
yeah.
place it in because I did
Okay.
my premature optimization. Yeah.
Yeah.
tRBC. Did I say that by accident?
Yeah. I think so.
And we obviously wanted to initially when we created it wants to be false, right? So
Yeah. We don't want it to be false.
we've done our mutation. Do we
Yeah.
want to return anything? I think when we were labbing this out, I
Mhm.
returned the item that we just created.
Yeah. If you do not want to make another network call to get the updated to-do list after you make the mutation, you can then just return the added to-do from the mutation and like manually add it into the cache.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That let's go with that. So and we'll make sure we do similar things with all of our other procedures here, I guess.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
cool.
So I
We've
guess
got our added. What other? I guess maybe can we just like stub out what the rest of these we'd want to make?
well, we'd want the toggling completed, like toggling it true or false.
Yeah.
And then deleting it.
Deleting it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else we need? Let me see if I got my lab here on the other one. I guess I had two different methods, one for complete and one for mark incomplete. Toggle kind of manages both of those, but what I had in mind was I was always thinking, hey, this is going to be a multi-user to-do app. So I didn't like toggle because then you might have a place where clients are out of sync and toggling one, you may think you're completing it when actually you're turning it off if you do it that way. But let's leave it at toggle because I've already been called out for premature optimizations. So we'll just start here. So we'll say,
Copilot is actually
yeah,
good,
it's
right?
doing pretty good. Look at that. So it knows. Let's just watch
Yep.
Copilot. There we go. Yep. Looks solid. I think that works actually. Oh, this is going to give us a problem actually with the if we can delete things. I don't think this is an optimization. I think this is a legitimate bug. Where if we delete things like this, we're going to run into problems with our way of getting an ID. So I think maybe we go back to my original idea, which was just let's just have a pointer or a counter. So yeah, let's just say let ID equals 0, and then we'll do like a. Okay, just get rid of this, and guess somewhere in here we do like an oof. Guess we can do it over here. We're not going to have a 0th ID, and I'm okay with that. What doesn't it like about here now?
Yeah, it's because it's a number. Yep.
Is this how the cool kids do it now?
To be To be honest, when I did it, I did it just as like an object of two arrays. One is like not completed, and the other one is completed to dos, because I wanted
Oh,
this to have
interesting.
two sections. So I had like a section basically of like just an array of the normal to dos that are still not completed, and then when you do complete a to do, it would then just take it into the completed array.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, I think we've got our API. That was easy enough. It's
Yep.
solid enough. So we do need to still, in our index right now, we just have this router. And you're
Yeah.
saying I can just take, what would I do? Call it to-dos,
So
and then
to
I'd
do.
import the to-do router.
Yep. That's it.
That's it? That's nice, because
Yep.
that's what I assumed it would be. So,
Yeah.
and I had no idea. So that's I think that's a side of a good API, is when I assume this is the way it's going to work. It turns out to be true.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Uh,
API done. Do we want to go over to our React app now?
so I think the first step would be to actually integrate React Query
Yes.
into the application. So we'll
Yeah. Let
need.
me let me maybe mention just why I did things this way initially, and I'd be actually interested in your take on this too, Ahmed. Just from
Mhm,
being on the tRPC team.
mhm,
Um, so initially, my thought was I want to integrate with as little pieces of tRPC as possible to just show, hey, this is a bare bones implementation. Like, say, I don't know, maybe Redux gets super
mhm.
popular again for some reason in the next month, and there's like
I
tRPC
don't
Redux.
like it.
I actually like Redux, but that's neither
Uh,
here or there. But the
mhm,
idea was, how do we do like a minimal implementation that brings that uses tRPC just with
mhm.
just a client and uses React. And so the idea was here, so creating our tRPC client and just
Yep.
using this as like a client where, like, obviously like this query is gone, but if we had, what did we call it, like
It
get.
would be dot to dos actually. So because we had like in our main router, we did like to dos equals to the to dos router. So now
Mhm.
anything that's any procedure for the to dos, it would be prefixed by to dos and then dot.
Ah, very nice, very nice.
Mhm.
But then the query here,
You're,
uh,
yeah.
at this point, that just gives us a promise, right? Which,
Yeah.
so that promise is going to make our network request for us when it gets
Mhm.
created, and when it resolves, we'll know that it either came back successfully or it failed.
Yeah.
So part of
Yeah.
me likes having that piece of it too, just as a way of, hey, this is a great way to expose things as well.
Mhm,
Before we get into the tan stack, which I think I want to go that way too, because
mhm.
I'm very interested in like React Query. This is another thing that's a little bit foreign to me, like working with the cache. Have you ever seen that GIF with like the dogs in space?
No.
Let me find this, because it's fitting for how I felt when I first got into uh, when I first got into tan stack a little bit. Is this not a popular meme? Oh wait, I
If
found it.
maybe when I see it, I will remember it. But
Yeah, I guess I
in con-
found it. It's not as big as I'd like it. But this dog right here, this is kind of how I felt initially when I got into TanStack React Router, or not React Router, React Query. Just
yeah.
like, okay, I can see this is obviously a nice tool once you know how to use it, but I felt like
Mhm.
this initially
Yeah, yeah.
when I was
To be
trying to figure out how
fair,
to use it. Yeah, go
the
ahead.
learning curve of it is not that it's not steep at all.
Hmm.
And the major selling point of it, the thing that it fixes really well is firstly the cache,
Hmm.
and second thing is the state management for your server
Right.
data becomes basically just non-existent. You don't have to use states. You don't have to do any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes sense. There
Hmm.
is something though, coming from a background where I actually like Redux,
Hmm.
specifically for like the Redux dev tools, and having very precise control and like data on how what your state is right now, and like what it looks like and what caused it to change. Having that kind of cache, I felt this way when I was poking around in the Apollo GraphQL client as well.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know what's happening with this cache. It seems to be invalidating itself and refetching at times, and
Mhm.
it felt like I had lost control a little bit over how that was
Mhm.
working. And I don't feel that way after spending just a little time with TanStack. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
getting to the point where, okay, this is starting to make sense. But
Mhm.
I still feel a little bit like that dog in space. So we'll
It's
see. I think with more time, I'll get there. But
I think when you once you get used to it, I don't think you'll ever come back.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's a strong prediction, sir. But I like that. A strongly convicted man.
Well,
All
yeah,
right.
I guess what you're doing is just like making a normal client, like a native client, basically like an HTTP one, which we do.
Hmm.
We do have many adapters. We have NextJS, ReactQuery. We have a normal fetch adapter as well.
Hmm.
And some other people actually made other adapters for other frameworks and stuff like that, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's very epic. So you're
Mhm.
saying we is there a blurred line between tRPC and TADStack right now, or are
Um, everything in TanStack is in the tRPC wrapper. We literally just wrap the TanStack as a library to make it just work with tRPC out of the box.
gotcha? Okay,
Mhm.
so there's no like y'all aren't working with their team necessarily as much as you're
No,
just taking their packages, or
we do have really great communication with them, especially tRPC. I think he helps us out a lot,
yeah.
and
I've been
we're
reading
like,
some of his
yeah.
blogs a little bit, just trying to
Mhm.
not be the dog in space anymore, right? So
Yeah.
he's a really good writer as well.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. So
cool.
yeah,
Well, good.
we do have great communication with the TanStack team. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's get back to the code.
Mhm.
Maybe I think the first step to do is just get rid of my tRPC client that I made
Mhm.
and get rid of this useless use effect
Right.
now.
And this too.
And let's see, and now we want to bring in from tRPC React query. Is this where we create the tRPC React? Um, bring that function in.
Yeah, so we'll need to install the tRPC React Query package and also TanStack React Query.
Okay.
Uh, so I guess let's
Do I
do
have
that.
those already? Looks like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yep. Okay. Uh, I would say let's make a new file actually,
Okay.
just to for setting things up.
We want it just here in the web app.
Yeah, that seems fine. Let's just call it trpc.ts.
Cool.
And then we we can import the create trpc React from React Query, the package create trpc React. Yep.
Cool.
And then we will need to import the app, like our tRPC router type from the server.
Okay. What did we call that now?
It's tRPC router.
Okay. tRPC router. There we
Mm-hmm.
go. Um, do what did we call this workspace? I think we called it NXTRPC demo from the server. Like so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we can just export const tRPC equals create tRPC React. It's
TRCP. Ugh.
tRPC.
FML.
Yeah. And then we can need to also provide the type of the tRPC router before you add the function call.
I think we called this the to do tRPC router. Is that right?
Uh,
So
no,
that's.
that's no, wait, is it?
I
Let's
think it
go back.
was actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Perfect.
Maybe unfortunately, I think that was my generator that did that initially.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
let's go back to here.
Yep,
Um, create
that's
tRPC
perfect.
React. Okay,
Yep.
so that's our tRPC instance now. And what's the
Yeah.
type on this? Create
So
tRPC React base. Okay.
you can get the context. You can set transformers. So it's very common to use the super JSON transformer because
Okay.
like normal JSON doesn't, for example, support dates. So it will route through that. So
Gotcha.
it's a good actual practice to just use the super JSON transformer. In most APIs, you'd use it.
Okay. Cool.
And then, so now we can go back to the app.tsx file. Let's make the app as terms of kind of like a provider's container for our child components. So just delete the use state, and we can then we need two states actually. So we're gonna need a query client, so const and then array. It's
So you
only
said a
one
query client,
query client, yeah. No, it's only query client. You don't need the second one. Yeah,
but it is
that one.
still in an array.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Because you need to get the first item. Query client does come from 10 stack.
Cool.
And then you're gonna make another use state also the same way, but it's gonna be inside the use state a function that returns tRPC.create client.
Okay. And that's the one we imported from that other file, create client.
Yeah, which is a function, and then we can provide to it some configuration options. So for example, there is an option of links. Yep. Links is an array.
This is where we do the HTTP batch link.
Yep.
So this is another piece I kind of accepted blindly, but I imagine what's happening here is this is supporting a way of if there was like some operation that's going to cause multiple queries to happen at the same time, it's going to send them as a batch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it will send only one network request basically.
I hate when I mismatch parens, but that looks good. And I imagine we're going to call this like, do we just call this the tRPC client or?
Yeah, tRPC client.
Okay. So I noticed when we were labbing this out, you did things this way. I think what I did was I actually lifted these up since like we're just making them at the root and just had them. So like instead of this line here, line 9, I did like const query client equals new query client like that. What's the difference here? Is there is the idea that you want it created inside of the closure of the app, or
Yeah.
okay, why is that?
I'm not actually sure. I think it has always been like that, or it's something that ReactQuery just has it in their getting started. But it has always been like that ever since I joined the tRPC team. Actually,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I haven't thought of it.
Okay. Interesting.
But
I was wondering if
I
there's
think
some special reason why, because this seemed like just a weird way of declaring something.
it's I'm not sure if it's to avoid. I think it might be, or it might be actually to avoid multiple initializations of clients.
Sorry about that.
No
Yeah,
worries.
I guess that makes sense.
So
Okay.
it's kind of like a memoing thing, I guess, but
All right.
I'm not really sure now.
Well, we'll take your word for it here. Cool. So we've got these things set up. Now we're going to want to, like you said, kind of set up our provider stack.
Yeah.
I guess
So
that starts with a tRPC provider, probably.
yes, that would be the case, and
Look
then
at Copilot, man. It's just plowing through.
and then the query client provider inside of that
Query client.
provider.
There it is. And then I guess this needs a client.
Yep.
And kill that one. And then, all right, here's where I did something weird, but here's where I guess we could go and start like making our to-do list inside of this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can make like components now and then just use them in there.
All right, you want to do like a to-do list, TSX?
Yeah, let's do that. Or actually, we can split into. Would this one be the one showing the list initially, that component?
Yeah, I guess I was thinking there would just be like one parent component for this, which would
Uh-huh.
be just the list itself. How did you separate yours? Do you want to separate it out differently?
I did a component for the form itself to add something into the list because
Gotcha.
you will render them now, but there is nothing in the list actually. So I did a component for the form that you would use to add a new thing into the list.
Gotcha. So we want to do like a add to do form.
Yeah.
I guess we'll do it like this. A to do form
Mm-hmm.
default. And I guess here we do something like form.
Yep. And then an input and a button.
Cool.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
then
So I guess
yeah, go ahead.
we need to actually get the value of the input in a state. So we're gonna need to do that first. To kind of like provide it for the mutations. So let's do
Right.
like mhm.
Looks good.
And then
Cool.
and
And
then
then
we can do a value and on change on the input using the state. So value would be or on change.
is that on change or was that on value change?
Yeah, on change. Yep.
Okay.
And then you get the E event, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just set that like so.
Hmm. I mean, it did with the value as well, which is, I guess, all right. But you're gonna need to then delete the line down, yeah, below,
Yeah.
yeah, delete the entire line basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Gotcha.
seems good.
Sometimes
Um,
CSX gets weird like that, man. All the
yeah,
braces and stuff. But yeah,
Copilot sometimes adds too much.
yeah. That's all right. It gives us enough value. I think that makes it all right.
Yeah,
So cool. On this one now, I guess we'll always have
yeah.
the value here. This will always reflect it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we need that actually, right? But
Which one?
line 12. I don't know.
Uh,
It's weird. I haven't like worked with raw forms in a while with React,
mhm.
so I don't know. I guess this would probably work.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so now I guess we want to do like an on submit on the form.
yeah, yeah.
Let's go there.
So on submit,
Submit.
let's, I guess, just provide to it a function and we can declare the function above the return, or we can do it here if you'd like to kind of separate things out more.
Gotcha. Like you're talking about like do a function up here
Oh no, like
for
above the return of the JSX.
like right here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we'd call like handle submit.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we can just provide it as the value for that prop. So like the handle submit, we can provide it for the on submit on the form element.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
On submit, we can just say that is here. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's that. So now we can actually bring in the mutation from tRPC. So we can do, I guess, below the use state.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we can do const and then curly brackets. It will destructure out of it. There will be mutate. It's not an array, it's an object, yeah. And it's going to be the tRPC. Yep, that one that we made. To-dos, tRPC.todos.
To-dos.
Dot add to do. And then dot use mutation.
Gotcha.
So yeah, let's delete everything after that. For that, we can then use now the mutate function. So inside the handle submit, we can just call it. and then after that, I guess just reset the state to be an empty string.
Okay, so
Yeah, because
set.
like you're gonna add a to-do, so you don't want the value of the input to stay the same after you've done that.
Yeah, makes sense. So inside of
Um,
the mutate function here, I guess we just have to
one-
send the title is going to match
yeah, which is
right there.
the state.
Gotcha. Title.
New to the name. And you can see how everything is just being auto-completed for you
Yeah,
immediately,
that's very
which is
nice.
very cool. Yeah.
One thing I want to do here,
Mhm.
just whoa, did we get kicked?
I think what happened there.
I don't know. I think StreamYard died on us. That was weird. Well, let's recover quickly. Just pretend like nothing happened. We, we brought shame to the clan. All right. Okay, we're back. We're back. I think we're back.
Perfect. All right. So
All right.
actually, I was gonna say there is also another thing that's destructured out of the used mutation code, which is mutate async.
Oh, interesting.
So if you want that to be asynchronous, there is that as well.
I've always okay. That this was part of the thing that was where I had the disconnect with the cache. It was
Mm-hmm.
not just that I didn't have control over it. I didn't have like a hook. Like the resolving of the promise is in some ways
Mm-hmm.
a hook for you to be like, okay, this is completed, and now
Yeah.
we can block on that essentially, like using async
Mm-hmm.
await. So
Yep.
I was completely unaware of that piece. That would have
Mm-hmm.
helped a lot. Um,
Yeah,
cool.
you can just change this to you can await it, or you can make a like a dot then or catch block,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
like try and catch whatever you really want. We do
Very
also have
cool.
like errors and loading states on that object as well that you can get.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
because I guess what I was doing, what was I doing here? Is there like what else
there
is
is
on this?
loading.
Loading. Yeah. And is
Is
there
there
like a on success or something here?
on success would be a configuration option for the on use mutation function.
Okay.
Yeah. So inside the use mutation call for the function, you can provide an object, and that can have on success, on error.
I see. I
Yeah.
think this is what I was hooking into because I was like,
Yeah.
how do I like not? I guess the goal was to like invalidate the cache once this
Hmm.
came in initially, and I was like, how? Right. So
Yeah.
because if you called it right here, right, like this mutate,
Hmm.
there's nothing blocking about this. So if you invalidate the cache here,
Hmm.
you'd go out and potentially, like, there's a race condition there. You could be getting stuff before the mutation happened from the
Hmm.
from the server, right?
Hmm.
So
We
cool.
do provide a lot of ways to do stuff, and you
Yeah.
just I guess pick what fits the your situation.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a good goal for y'all as a library too. So
Oh,
very
okay.
cool.
It's all 10 stack query, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I kind of see that, but the integration that y'all offer by working as well together as you do, that's
uh
awesome as well.
Thank you.
So like it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I guess maybe
Yeah.
to y'all's egos, but I don't get that sense from any of y'all that much. So
Yeah.
cool. All right, so let's where are we at with this now? I guess we have
We we now need to either update the cache or invalidate it after the mutation.
exactly,
Um,
yeah.
so there are two ways to do it. Either if you don't really worry about the network calls, you can just straight up invalidate the get all to dos query, and it will just refetch that after the mutation has happened. And the other
Okay.
way would be to manually update the cache for the all to dos,
Yeah.
basically.
Can we
So
hit the can you show how to invalidate the cache first? How would you do that?
So we have like a tRPC use context hook that would get you like a bunch of utility functions. So we can actually call that, I guess, above the use state or something like that.
Okay. So,
It's typically called utils
okay.
equals tRPC dot use context.
Use context.
Yep. And inside the onSuccess now, we can just call utils dot todos. Yep.
Okay. So this
And
is
then
nested through the router as well, right?
yeah. So and then get all todos dot invalidate.
Okay. And we could have
And
also, I guess, invalidated the whole router, it looked like, from the API as well.
yeah, you could.
Okay.
And
Is that going to invalidate all queries for inside of that
that
router?
so anywhere that that query is being used,
Mm-hmm.
basically it will be invalidated, and it will be another network call will be fetched to then get a more updated version of the data, and just putting it in the cache, and then wherever that query will be called, they will get all the same data.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mhm.
All right.
So yeah, and the other way would be to manually then set the cache. We
Mm-hmm.
can get whatever the mutation returns from the onSuccess function, yeah, as a parameter.
Okay.
So that
So this would be like the turn val. I guess let's just
yeah,
call this the to do item, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So
Um,
this would be an alternative to invalidating the cache, because invalidating the cache is essentially, I guess, like this is what you were saying.
mhm,
That's going to cause the new network request, but we don't necessarily need that because of the way that we set up our server.
mhm.
Because when it returns the value, we should be able to just take the cache we got, take the new item, and just shove it in there,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, basically, literally, yeah.
Cool.
And that would avoid us to make another network call.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, for some case scenarios, you would need the invalidations. Maybe that manually merging your new thing and your already existing data is a bit too complex, so you would
Yeah.
just invalidate.
Gotcha.
But for a simple situation like a to-do list, you can definitely just use the set data functionality.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
For us to do that, then we can just again call utils.todos dot get all todos.
To dos. Get all to dos.
Yep, and we can do the set data function.
Okay.
So the set data, it will like in the function for it, it will bring you whatever is in the cache for that query. So your basically current data, and then you can manipulate that
Yeah. What's
data.
this? Just looking at the IntelliSense I have on screen, what's the first parameter here? What's that input? Am I missing that?
So the input, basically in normal React query, you need to like provide a query key.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh, I
but
see.
for us we do that basically automatically because we do know the names of the queries and stuff like that. So most like when at all times you just provide undefined for it
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
because if you see the type is void or undefined, like you
Yeah,
cannot.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
Void or undefined?
yeah.
You giving me some interesting choices here. And then I guess this callback is like based on the old,
Mhm.
the original data.
Yeah.
We're
Whatever you
good.
return, whatever you return in that function becomes the new cache.
This is what we're going to set for. Got it. Okay. So I
Yeah.
guess what we want to do is like, uh,
Actually, Copilot did it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, spread the old and put the new to do item in. What is this? What is it not like
I
about
think it's
this?
because of the way we did the. No,
No.
no, I think it's because of the way our to dos are as a type. I think they're record, right?
I don't think so. I think we returned it as a to do array. Yeah, it looks
Mm-hmm.
like it. I think I just missed a pipe. Yeah, because it was old is potentially undefined, so you can't spread that. I
Oh,
guess.
actually, you can avoid that by just having an if there is no cache, then just return early.
Oh, because that's the cache, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's do
Miss
that
that part.
instead.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say if no
There is no
old,
old, just
return
return,
like
or
that.
literally just So actually, yeah, you could do that, but yeah,
I guess that
that is
works. I don't know. I
there's
guess I don't
no
understand the cache enough. Like, why would it ever be undefined? I guess if we never even tried to
to
get a
query.
query, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it would just be like a weird state. So you were saying maybe just return
yeah,
nothing. Yeah.
yeah. Like prematurely return. Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird. I
So
don't
like,
like, again. I don't understand the life cycles of the React query hook enough, but I would think you'd want to at least do this because then,
hmm
like in that case, you're going to miss that to do item, right? Because this is all this is coming back from the on success hook of the mutation.
hmm
So yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, that is true. I think you have a point there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
Mm.
either way, I think we've got a working form now.
Yeah,
And
good,
we
good.
are 3 minutes over the time we had set. Are you keen to keep going, Ahmed? I don't want to keep
Yeah,
you here if you have other
no, no,
things planned.
no, of course.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. Well, I think we have a form. Like this form is working.
We
Uh,
just need to put it in the app.
yeah. So you, with what you were thinking, you wanted to put like the add to the do form here.
Mhm.
Maybe why would it do it like that? And
Yeah,
then we do like over here.
the actual.
This is where we put the list. Is that what you were
hmm
thinking? Okay,
Yeah,
let's do that. So I guess we need to make a list next. Let me just check.
yeah. Let's see.
Is if is this
You
still
haven't
serving?
saved the app. You haven't
Oh
saved the
yeah.
app file.
Thank you.
There
So
it is.
there's hey, no one needs
Nice,
styles on a live
nicely
stream,
styled.
right?
Yeah, nicely styled.
Let's do style it. Let's go. Send it. All right, so that looks good.
Mhm.
So we want to do like a list next, huh?
Yeah,
So
yeah, we did.
to do list, TSX. All right, export default function to do list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, return, and I guess we
So,
want to do like a
are
UL
you,
kind of deal.
yeah, yeah. Actually, let me show you a cool part of tRPC as well. So above, so for this component, we're gonna kind of expect some props. Actually, wait. So let's say if we do have a to-do item component, because we will need functionalities for.
Yeah, we've got Tailwind locked in here, Ben. By the way, so that was part of the generator that we had from the article. So Tailwind is in there. So we're getting like the bare bones Tailwind stuff right now.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah, sorry to interrupt your train of thought.
No, so
So
for
you're
each
talking
to-do
about
item,
props, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry. Go ahead.
for each to-do item, we're gonna need like a checkbox to
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
toggle it, and then to actually display the text for the to-do. So we can actually just make a to-do item component that would
Okay.
then take props of what the to-do is. And tRPC actually provides a way to get whatever the return type of a query or a mutation, and then have that as your prop types.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So you can do that.
Well, I was going to do
Um,
like a to do item component just down
mhm,
below. Is that what
mhm.
you were thinking? And then,
Yeah, yeah,
because maybe I'm not following you on how that prop's going to look.
yeah.
Um,
But then it's gonna need the completed prop and the title from
okay.
from our to remember. So for that we can do 1 second. So tRPC
We've
provides
got
a
our Angular Andes, by the way, in the chat. Rars, shout out to Rars. She comes by a lot. And Addiction Addict, welcome. Yeah, I'm an Angular Andy myself. Started out with Angular. So we have our own templating language, and
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
it's a learning curve, and like there's maybe an argument that it's valid HTML at the end of the day, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like everything that I want from my stuff is like domain agnostic, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why JSX or TSX just makes more sense to me, because it's
Mm-hmm.
just like a nicer way. Svelte is a much closer match. Yeah, Svelte looks pretty cool. I haven't
Yeah.
gotten my
Okay.
hands on that really, but that looks
Mhm.
really cool. I've heard good things. Yeah, Ben's throwing us types or Tailwind on the fly. We'll get that in. We'll get that in at some point, Ben. Thanks for that. I actually don't know how to like select text from things. We'll get it later, Ben. Sorry. But yeah, okay. Going back to the props here.
Yeah.
You were pulling something up.
Let's make above the component like a type.
Okay.
So type to do item props.
To do item props.
It would be equals. We have a utility function in tRPC called infer router outputs.
For router. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And that basically you can do an array like to get to basically get an item out of it. So square brackets basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Copilot did it for you.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Yeah, and then 0. You need to import the infer router outputs.
Is it still not there?
Requires, wait, 1
Looks like
second.
it needs a generic.
Oh, yeah, true. It does. Hmm. 1 second.
No worries. Yeah, this is neat.
Yeah,
I think.
it is. It is a generic actually. So that square bracket stuff, it's inside the angle brackets.
Oh, I see. So,
Mhm.
okay.
Like that. Is it get all to this for us? It should autocomplete for you if you delete it and try it again. Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't exist.
So I do want to do another square bracket.
Mm-hmm. No, why is
Do I need? I don't know. Maybe it's something I have following that. Yeah, it's giving me all like just the array methods after this.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I'm really kind of dumb. Sorry, but the generic it takes the tRPC router type as a whole.
Oh,
Not.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was tRPC router,
Router.
and that
Yeah.
was this one.
And then you close it, and then that one. There you go. And if you
Okay.
hover now, if
I'm a little like, what just happened right now? But it's all right.
if you
What
hover,
so?
you hover
Okay,
over it, like, you
got it.
see?
There's a bunch of nonsense after that, but
Yeah.
yeah, okay. It gives me my
Mhm.
props for the item, essentially.
Yeah. So now your props are always in sync with your data types that comes out of the backend.
Gotcha. So now I can say, so this to do item component, we can just use like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess the things we need, I guess we need all of it.
I don't think we need the ID actually.
Okay. I was thinking, maybe, would we not use that for like the key
Yeah,
for it? I
we
guess we'd
do.
do that up top. Yeah, that makes
We
sense.
do need the ID for the toggling mutation,
Oh
which
yeah.
happens inside the to-do item.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mhm.
So okay, we just structure it all.
Yep.
That's fine.
And then I guess now we can just render like a div with a checkbox, an
Yeah, yeah.
li with box inside of it, and then the title.
Label, like that. And let's give this one. Maybe we just give this like an ID.
Mm-hmm.
Checkbox. Yeah, see, we're using the ID all over.
Yeah.
We'll use this in the for just accessibility, I guess.
By the way, I would change from checked to default checked for the prompt.
Right here.
Otherwise it errors out because
Oh,
React, he says like the checked one should be like a state if it's something like that. Anyways, now we can make the mutation for deleting the to do.
gotcha. So
We
you're
have like a
thinking like a button
yeah.
following this? Okay.
Mhm.
Button, remove. I guess let's
Yep.
call it delete. Remove sounds too soft. We want to be assertive with our deletion. And then
Um,
on click, I was going back. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but if there's Angular folks in chat, they would have noticed I was trying to do like an Angular binding on that on click.
force of
uh,
habit.
yeah, I know. Okay, so over here now we want to use the mutate as well.
Yeah.
So
So
do we bring in the use mutate hook here?
we're gonna have two mutations, one for toggling the checkbox
Okay,
and the
and one
other
for
one would be
deleting.
for
Yeah.
deleting. Yeah. So let's do the delete first because that would be simpler.
Okay, so
So
is it like so?
it's an object.
Okay. And this would not be delete. This would be mutate,
You can
and we'll call
rename
it
it.
delete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Copilot had it. There it is.
yeah.
I guess we need to.
Yeah.
Did I do this wrong? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Right.
Good point. Good point. VS Code. Thank you.
Delete to do. No, it doesn't delete the checkbox, does it?
Yeah. Okay. Fair point. Fair enough. I guess my brain was thinking it would, right? Okay.
Yeah. Then
So
that should work. But
okay.
also,
So yeah, go ahead.
we need now to update the cache for also again, so we can do it in the on success.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
This looks familiar, huh? So this
Yes.
would be new item.
Oh no, it's not new.
It's not new. I guess this would be. Oh yeah, this is just nothing, right?
Yeah. No, the delete would still return the deleted item.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I think that's the way that we did it in the router. So we just need to basically find with the key with the ID and then in that array of our cache and just delete that.
Gotcha. So we still need to use like the utils. Where do the utils come from? Do I have to destructure that out?
You have to call the hook inside the to-do item component.
I see. Const utils equals and tRPC use context.
Yep.
Cool. So utils to dos, get all utils, set data, and let's just close that. Let's say to delete index equals old. Yeah, find index. Good job. Yeah. I think that's actually wrong, right? But
what is that? Yeah.
Where is it going with this?
Why is it copying it?
Splice. What are you doing? Is there not just like a delete at index?
The way I did it,
yeah,
is basically just filtering out the to do with the ID. So I would literally just
makes sense. New to dos equals old. Yeah, that's a lot nicer.
And then just return that.
Yeah.
Let's also old is on like oh yeah, you can just do that.
Yeah. That right? That looks good.
Yeah, that looks good.
I never miss a chance to get rid of a return. Yeah. Yeah. So Ben's commenting here. Yeah. Exactly. Like this is one of the things we're seeing. Like this is not something that we had put initially inside of our generator, because I had missed this until I had started talking with Alma, just how well these things work together with each other. So yeah.
We also, for the Next.js implementation, you can completely make all the network requests or whatever is server side rendered.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
Rarsh has an interesting point here. I guess I missed this. So
Um,
Copilot went down the weird splice route because I told it that was wrong initially. Okay, I'm sorry. See, I'm just like getting in the way of Copilot at this point. And this is the definition of becoming obsolete, I feel like. All right.
okay.
Well, we got this. Do you want to just copy and paste it to do like the same thing, but for, I guess this would be toggling now?
Yeah, for the checked, so we can just on click on the input and mutate um, the toggling one.
Yeah. So we'll just rename this to toggle.
Yeah.
And this one, toggle complete.
Yep.
And this one, new item, I guess. So this would just be item. Do we want to like replace it or just like mutate it? I guess.
No, we want to just replace the completed key inside of it.
Gotcha.
So
How did you do it?
I basically just, if it's completed, then like I would get the data. Obviously, from the new item, you can find if it's going to be completed or not. But the way I did it basically is to check if it's completed based on the new item, and then I would find that that like item in
right, because you had the two different lists, right?
Yeah.
I think for what we'll do, we'll just toggle the thing on and off. So I guess what we could do, we could just say, I guess like, we gotta use the utils again. Get data.
Get data basically gets the data from the cache, because we don't have what's called, actually
I think we need to do this inside of set data, right?
Because we do
yeah.
So there is also functionality called get data if you just want to get some data from the cache.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's sort of like the use state hook, just
basically
slightly different.
How is it suggesting?
What's that?
If you do backspace and then tab again, Copilot would resuggest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How is it doing it? Let's see. Wait, it's map. Okay.
Okay. I would not have thought to do it that way, but yeah, that works.
Yeah, that works. The age of AI.
I think it grabbed this from what we had done before too. That's neat.
It did,
I wouldn't have thought to do it that way, but yeah, that works.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
part of me wants to like change this to a ternary, but I hate return. I hate the return keyword. Whenever we can get rid of it, I want to.
I can I guess counter this with saying that it's more readable that way.
I guess. But it doesn't make me feel as cool, and that's what I'm really going for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
To be honest, I use the angle, like the arrow functions instead of the function name, because I feel like the function one is a bit old now.
Yeah.
At least there is literally no difference between them. I mean, unless this.
There's one difference, right? The lexical this. And
to be honest, like, where are you gonna use this keyword?
You used to use it a lot. You don't have to worry about that, you sweet summer child. No, yeah, that's I used to always be in there. Always use the arrow functions. And for whatever reason, I'm sure it's only preference, but yeah, I started going back to functions. Another interesting thing about them is if you use the function, if you declare it with a function, that will hoist. Whereas declaring a function with the constant and an arrow function, that won't. So
I
yeah.
typically also like to have actually my stuff in order for in the file.
Yeah, same. So it doesn't matter that much. But yeah, self equals this. Yep. We've been there.
Well,
All right. Well, we've got our toggle now, so we want to just do this on. I guess this would be on change on the input. Yeah.
yeah, on click actually.
On click, sure.
Whenever the checkbox is clicked.
Click.
Equals, you forgot the equals before the curly brackets.
Thank you.
Maybe that's an Angular thing.
No, that was just maybe a dumb thing. I guess we could just do toggle at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then you can just provide the ID. But you're gonna need to actually call it to provide the ID in it. So
Yeah.
arrow function it is.
So toggle and give it the
ID.
ID.
That
Looks good.
should be.
That is so neat that went all the way down, because I wasn't thinking this. I was thinking it would be like this, and the tooling there just made it so I didn't even have to think about that. That was really cool.
Yeah. I do like how I'm not sure if it's a Polo client that does it, but where you provide the arguments inside the use mutation code itself.
Yeah.
But I do like how you provide the arguments whenever you call the mutate actually here. So yeah.
Cool.
And now we can, I guess, use the to-do item in the to-do list, but we need now to query all the to-dos.
Yeah. So is this constant? We would just structure out like a query. I would imagine.
Yeah. So you're gonna you can have the data out of that. It's data, not query.
I see. Data
equals tRPC. Then dot use. Yep.
It was good in there.
That's that.
Cool.
You can also get the loading, get states, all that stuff.
What did I do?
Wait, that thing you just did just like gave me something that I forgot to talk about. But if you right click on the get all to dos and then go to definition, it will actually go to the server definition of that.
What?
Yep.
That's epic. That is really neat.
You can literally just go to definition between your front end and your back end.
That's really cool. So we're back on the to-do list. Yeah, that was really neat.
Thank you.
Y'all rock. Again and again. I feel like I'm just like seeing how cool all of this stuff is. So essentially it's like there's you're just exposing hooks on those pieces.
Okay. Mutation or query.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Now we can just use the data. So I guess.
Yeah. What is the shape of this data right now?
It's
some of these things are a little like. I'm like trying to parse this, so it's like, okay, this is just a to-do array or undefined, I guess. Got it. Okay. So at this point, we just data dot map. Yeah.
That looks good. But you need the curly brackets underneath.
Yeah, it got the key type. At this point, I'm just like checking Copilot's work. I feel like. Someone said monorepo magic. Yeah, yes. I mean, there's an obvious nice integration here between tRPC and NX, just because of like in some ways, like the tooling that I've been used to is not all that different from tRPC, just in the fact that the main thing you get, I think, is the full test stack type safety. The added benefit of tRPC is that full stack type safety is effortless. It's how you build stuff. If this were me doing it, I'd be using like Express and maybe, I don't know, I'd probably be using Angular a few years ago, right? And I'd have to be maintaining like this other interface that was like, okay, make sure if I ever change the response body, make sure I update that in some other file, and make
Yeah.
sure those things never get out of sync. That step is removed now
Yeah.
completely with
Not only
tRPC.
that, but also props matching with your components as well,
Yes.
because you can
Yeah.
just infer that the types from the server.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And stuff like this is beautiful. This is really neat. So
there is also infer router inputs to get the type of a query input only.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Very cool. Yeah, monorepo is life, exactly. Uh,
exactly.
does the core team use NX internally? I don't think so. Right now, I think y'all are using Turbo Repo
Yeah, yeah,
on the project, but Ahmed here is a NX aficionado, I guess we could say.
yeah. Yeah,
So
I do use NX everywhere basically.
yeah, awesome. So we've got some friends in there. Dumb question. What does tRPC stand for? I think sometimes y'all get some flack for y'all's
Yeah.
choice of a name. I actually like it, but you
So,
want to field this a bit, Ahmed?
so basically, it's TypeScript remote procedure. Wait, T
It's
remote
RPC,
procedure
by the
call.
way,
Yeah, yeah,
RCP,
yeah.
remote
RPC.
procedure call. Yeah. So
Yeah,
the thing that's
TypeScript
confusing
remote.
about that is like RPC is a standard that has
Mhm.
nothing to do with what we're looking at. That's like
Yeah,
remote
yeah,
procedure calls. Uh, but if you think of it as like a remote procedure call, as in a stand-in for your network request, that's
mhm.
kind of what it is. And T is like for the typed piece of that.
The name is because like just you make functions on the back end and you kind of just call them on the front end
Yeah.
seamlessly, like how the RPC is.
Yeah.
Also, there
Oh
is
yeah.
no there is no similarities between gRPC and tRPC. A lot
Yeah.
of people get very confused, but they are both completely different.
Yeah, we need to just spam the entire JavaScript community with articles like tRPC versus gRPC.
Oh
And
no.
it'll be set. Which one should you
Yes.
do?
Yeah.
uh,
Uh,
you can
yeah. Family.
rename methods with VS Code. Oh yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we
You
show
can do
that
that.
real quick? So that's
Yeah.
just
You can
I
just
guess we could, given your
write.
new magic you showed me, I can go to
Yeah.
definition and I can rename a symbol and
Hmm.
call it get
Get to
all
do.
stuff. That did it.
Let's see.
To do
Hopefully.
now, the question is, can I undo
Oh
this
yeah, it
somehow?
did it. Let's
Yeah,
go.
look at that. Neat.
Yeah.
Okay, if
Yeah.
I do Command Z, okay, that works. I hope that worked across all of our files.
It did.
I'll just trust it did. Good
It
deal.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I only need tRPC and Angular and Nest. I know you guys don't really use it, but I think that might be a hard sell,
Thing is,
Raj.
no,
But
the thing is, we do not want to have many adapters that would basically slow down our maintenance for them.
mhm.
So if you do want, you can make your own tRPC Angular or Nest adapter,
Mhm.
um, and we can definitely include that in our collection for tRPC resources. But
There we go.
we want to keep our scope small in terms of maintenance because we're not many people working on tRPC.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
Mhm.
why I am as impressed as I am with the integration y'all have with ReactQuery.
Mhm.
Um, just because that seems like an overreach from what I was assuming y'all would want to do.
Mhm.
And as you can see from like where I set up the goalpost in terms of like how should tRPC be supported. So yeah,
Mhm.
really cool. But yeah, Rars, y'all should do it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
really nice. It's no reason it wouldn't work with Angular. The only
Mhm.
weird piece would be because like everything around Angular is so focused on observables for network requests. I
The
had kind of like a similar issue when I was working with Supabase and trying to port that to Angular. It's
Mhm.
just it's going to look weird, I think, for most folks, but I'm
Mhm.
sure you could put an adapter around that people really wanted that as an observable. But
Yeah.
I've got my own spiel about this, Ahmed, about how why would a GET request? Why would you want that to be an observable?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to complete. It's going to emit once and immediately complete. That is functionally no different than a promise.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my own little take.
Actually, about the Nest and Angular stuff. So we have just a pure fetch adapter that you can just use anywhere.
Okay.
There is no adapter for that framework. You can still use tRPC with that. So people, for
Oh, I
example, are
see.
using tRPC with Svelte. And also Nest.js uses Express, if I'm not mistaken. And we do have an Express.js adapter for tRPC.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Here we go. Here we go about observables. You can cancel a promise. It's not that hard. It's not that common either, I don't think. But and you can also, like, I don't know. We won't get into that. But you can. ArcsJS does interop perfectly fine with promises too. Like, you can switch map to a promise. It's not a big deal. we can do this. Anyways, okay. Let's stay on target. How close are we now?
We're very close now.
We're very close, I think. Yeah.
For us, we're on the to-do list. Actually, we finished that far.
We're here. I think we're here. I think are we done? we haven't been checking in the browser really at all. But I think if we test that don't look right.
We added,
no, you're right. It's not in our app.ts.
Yeah.
Oops. To do, what did we call it? To-do list.
Yep.
There it is. There you go. There it is. It's not looking great, but
it works.
It works.
And also, you see, there is, like, when you're doing the functionalities, there is no more get all to do network calls.
Yeah. So that was a function of us using the set. What was that called again on the tan stack side of things?
Set data.
Yeah, set data. Here. So
what
we could have, like, we saw this. We could have just invalidated the cache. That's one option. I guess even lower than that would be go mutate, or not to go mutate, but go run another query at this point. You probably don't want to do that because why are you using ReactQuery at that point even? So better to just invalidate it. But even better than invalidating it is now we, assuming we're the only user interacting with this list, there is a sufficient data coming back as the response to all of our remote procedure calls that we can piece together like this item as it comes. So that's cutting down on the network chatter. So every time we add something here,
also the reason for multiple get all to do's now, because by default when ReactQuery detects unfocus and focus on the browser, it will refetch.
Really?
Yeah.
Neat. How do we stop that? That's neat, but I don't want that right now.
So the way that you stop that is on the use query call. I think
okay, so that was in our list and up here. So this is like an option. Yeah.
The thing is, the first parameter will always be the input type of a query or mutation, but because we don't have any inputs, we need to then do undefined.
Got it. And now we can put our options.
Yeah, and then there is one called refetch on unmount, I think, or refetch on remount, refetch on window focus. That one.
Refetch.
Yeah.
Window focus.
Window focus. Yeah, to false. And then now, if you refresh that, and then go back to VS Code and come back, you see it didn't refetch.
Yeah. So true. Come here. Yeah. Every time we come back.
Yeah.
I had no idea about this. Ahmed, you're teaching me all kinds of new stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. It's cool that that's the default behavior too, because I imagine that's actually helpful once you're in that mindset. I was just not anticipating it. This is kind of like the dog in space stuff I was telling you about. Like, this is obviously cool. I just don't know how to use it yet. I don't know what to expect. So yeah,
I guess.
it seems like the cache is actually easier to work with than I was anticipating, because I did not get this sentiment that much from Apollo. I never felt
Mhm.
like I understood how that cache worked entirely.
Yeah,
So
same. I do agree with that. But yeah,
cool,
it's just React query at that point that is type
right?
safe, and that's that.
Yeah,
With go to definitions and all of that stuff between your front end and server, and no
yeah.
code generation.
Sweet. Well, hey, we did it. I think this qualifies. I'm sorry we didn't get to the next stuff, but maybe we can get you on another time and we can look through
Yeah,
that. Maybe you could lead us next time, and we
of
could go
course, yeah.
through doing the same thing in next. But let me drop. I'm going to drop our GitHub links in here. I think this one's yours first. So this was before we came on. We kind of labbed this out together. So Ahmed's got his NX tRPC demo that
Which
uses
is,
Next,
yeah, it's
and
using Node.js.
yeah, and I've got mine that just uses React and uses the plugin that we had built inside of the article. And we'll post this one too, because I think this one's actually better than the one I had done, minus the styles. Not that my styles are great, but I got to figure out how to get all of Ben's suggestions in here for
Oh
the
yeah.
class names. We've already got Tailwind set up. That's just coming from the generator, so maybe a selling point for NX there. It's really easy to just add Tailwind, and that's one of the things I'm most excited about with NX is just its possibilities that it offers here, just in terms of like, getting started. Hopefully, if we can do what we're setting out to do, a lot of getting starteds will now just be like NX init,
Yeah.
and if you want to add Tailwind, rather than it being like this 10-step process, it will be instead run add Tailwind, and it becomes that simple. So
I do actually in my demo I am using Tailwind
nice,
uh, for the Next.js application,
nice.
and yeah, it works well. I am also thinking about making my own, I guess, NX type of boilerplate,
Yeah,
which would include stuff like tRPC, Next.js, Storybook, the stuff that I really, I guess, like to use in almost all projects.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking of doing that.
Yeah, so we already have the NX presets
Uh-huh.
that we support that you can do that. I'd love to get us to a place where we have a nicer way so that it doesn't always look like create NX workspace, but rather just create Ahmed workspace, for example,
Mhm.
as a nice way of just wrapping that up. So yeah,
Yeah.
sweet.
And
Well, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and we also might do the tRPC NX plugin. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I'm talking to Jack about this later today, so we'll see what happens there. But that would be awesome to get to a point where we have some official support for this too. So
yeah, definitely.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, Ahmed, thanks so much for joining us. The whole clan, all your family watching. Thanks for stopping by. That's so cool. Everyone in the comments, appreciate y'all coming through
Thank you.
and having a
Thank
good
you so
time
much.
with us. Yeah. So, yeah,
All right.
we'll end it at that. Cheers, Den.
Thank you,
We'll
everyone.
catch y'all next time.
All right.